Hi, and happy Memorial Day, everybody. It's Chris coming to you live with the Women's and Children's Alliance. I'm just going to make sure I'm live here. Um, yep, I am. Okay, good. I know that a lot of people are off work today, so if you are joining me, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to just honor those who have sacrificed their lives for our freedom. As I said, it's Memorial Day. It's Monday. I am coming to you live from my dining room because I too am off work. So hanging out, enjoying a little downtime. Again, it's Memorial Day. It's Monday, the 25th of May. So I wanted to talk to you for just a few minutes about Memorial Day and freedom. And what that, I guess, means to me and what that means to us at the WCA in general. So if you're just joining us, this is Chris coming to you live from the WCA's Facebook page. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about me. I'm the communications manager with the WCA. And I've been here. Hey, Becca. Thanks for joining. It's a Memorial Day, so it's nice to see some of the staffers still wanting to take a few minutes out to join me on Facebook. We'll see who's going to join us. I think my sister might pop on. She said she was interested. It's nice to know that my younger, not littler, she's taller than me, my younger sister is still interested in what I have to say, although I often tell her, I make her listen. But so I'm Chris. I've been with the WCA for over 7 years now as the communications manager. I am very passionate about my job. Because I think it's really important to communicate with the community and communicate with those who are in the community who potentially might be in dangerous living situations or just unhealthy living situations. There are a lot of things about domestic abuse that people don't really understand are domestic abuse. And that's why we're here. That's why we do what we do on my team. We do prevention work in the schools and with youth. We do outreach. We haven't been able to do a lot of that in person lately, which is why we've been coming to you live on Facebook if you have joined us before. I have a feeling that a lot of people, hopefully, anybody who watches us might be watching the replay. So I'm going to say hello to all of you who might be watching this after the fact. And hopefully you will share this with your friends and family. And I just wanted to talk a minute about Memorial Day. So, hey, Paula. Hi, nice to see you. One of my good friends, Paula, is watching. So today is Memorial Day. So Memorial Day is a day that nationally it's a federal holiday. We honor those who've given the greatest sacrifice for our country and our freedom. It means a lot to me. I'm a military wife. I am now, those of you who don't know, I'm a military mom. My son just joined the Army. So it means a lot to me. I have not been affected first person by a service member giving the greatest sacrifice. For that, I'm thankful. But I understand the sacrifice that military families give. And so it's not Veterans Day, so I'm not going to go into how proud I am of my military service members. First, my son-in-law is a Army reservist. So I really am thankful and grateful. Hey, Cherie, thanks for joining. I'm really thankful for our military service members, but again, it's not Veterans Day, so I won't go into that. But so I am a military wife. I'm a military mom. I'm a military mother-in-law. But Memorial Day is for recognizing the ultimate sacrifice that those in our military give. Hey, Katie, thanks for joining. For us to have the freedom that we have, and I am so honored and privileged to be an American. We've had a lot going on in social media and the media with freedoms and countries, but you know what? We get to have those conversations because of the country we live in. And that's what's really great about this nation. We have religious freedoms, we have freedom of speech, freedom to gather, and a lot of people around the world just don't have that. And I think we lose focus on that. So today, as we go about having this day off, a lot of us do have this day off. I hope we remember that because it is Memorial Day and we get this day off. It started in the 70s. It was Decoration Day. We were honoring, back in the Civil War, they would decorate graves of those soldiers that had lost their lives. I'm sure in my family tree, I come from Ireland and Scotland and European. I'm sure I have family members far and wide who have fought in the wars and lost their lives. So those that I don't know, thank you for your service. Thank you for the greatest sacrifice. But freedom is also on my mind today. So I wanted to talk about Memorial Day and give thanks and my deep appreciation to the families who are suffering losses. I do know some people who have lost family members in the conflicts in my lifetime. So some of you, I don't know if you'll ever see this message, but for your sacrifice and for your hurt and your loss, I thank you. But freedom is a big part of our efforts and a big part of our mission: safety, healing, and freedom at the WCA. What freedom means to someone who's been impacted by domestic abuse and sexual assault, or is being impacted still, is huge and may seem absolutely unattainable. Because for someone living in a home where hey Kim, thanks for joining, where they are being isolated, they're being controlled, their options, they just don't think they have options. And domestic abuse is more than just physical violence. It's a cycle of violence. They may not have control or access to finances. There's financial abuse is present in like 99% of domestic violence in relationships. So that means they may not have access to money. They may not be able to go to work. They have to turn over their paycheck. Their credit may be ruined and they don't even know it. So there are so many barriers to leaving that freedom, true freedom, just may seem unattainable. Which on a day like today, when I'm reflecting on what freedom means to me as a woman, and I look back on my grandmother's lifetime, and she celebrated the right to vote for the first time. I am so grateful for my privileges. And I was a single mother for a very, very long time, and that was a challenge. Hi, Brian. My stepdad's watching. Awesome. Thank you. Ellie, yay. I'm grateful for the freedoms and the privileges I have, but for those that are living in these situations in domestic violence, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men will be impacted. The CDC reports tell us by some form of psychological violence, stalking, or physical sexual violence, or 50% of people will be impacted by the psychological. Those numbers are all on our, sorry, my battery is telling me, on our website. Those numbers are just staggering, and those are just the numbers that are reported. So think about all the people that don't come forward, they don't file a police report, they won't tell anybody. Those are just from the surveys. So this is an epidemic. This has been happening for a very long time. We are just now on the cusp of it being more almost socially acceptable to talk about, even where it's more socially acceptable to say something, where if you're concerned about somebody, you can say, like, I'm worried about you. This isn't okay. I'm worried about you. I think you deserve to be treated better. Where we've entered into a new decade, 2 new decades of the attitude being different, where it's just not, well, that's a personal thing. You need to take care of it, clean up your house. That's in your backyard. Where that, in the 70s, that's really, even into the 80s, that's what life was about. And so freedom is a very different concept for those that are living in an abusive relationship, whether it be a woman or in a same-sex relationship where children are involved. And that's especially a whole different conversation now with these stay-home orders across the nation, where people are being asked to isolate with an abuser, and children are being in a home where their access to someone who can report on their behalf has been taken away. Those are frightening numbers. We know at the WCA, police reports and law enforcement are reporting they may not be seeing significant numbers, but what we're hearing from, like, the prosecutor's office is that the significance of felony domestic violence cases are actually pretty high significantly. And what we are seeing, our numbers to our hotline are just rising increasingly fast. And I think part of that is that we have a hotline that's available 24 hours a day. We're a lifeline, I hope. People know that they can call, they can ask for resources, they can ask for help, safety planning perhaps. Those are calls related to domestic violence issues. So we know there are people at home in situations that they can't get out of. Freedom is that concept of freedom is currently unattainable. So this is happening in our community, to our neighbors, to our sisters and brothers, to the children. and that is something that's on my mind today because it's Memorial Day, and we're reflecting on the people who've given that ultimate sacrifice for us to have freedom, in the most free country in the world. So as we think about the fact that at the WCA, our calls in April this year compared to April last year related to domestic violence increased by 194%. And if you look at the first quarter of this year, comparing that to the first quarter of last year, we were doing about one emergency intake into shelter a quarter. And right now we're tracking about one emergency intake into shelter a week. And that means that the lethality rate, the risk, is so severe that we bypass anything and we get that woman and her child, or just the single woman, right into shelter. So that alone is pretty startling to me. And that tells me that there is a problem, but it's also encouraging to me to know that people know that the WCA is there, and that we're doing a good job. Our people who are listening to us and helping us and knowing that we're here are doing a great job. So our community is doing a good job. And that's encouraging. Our community is doing a good job letting people know where that help is, and encouraging people and talking to people and reaching out to them and showing that support. And that is a significant thing that people can do to help with that freedom part. Because if someone's in a relationship or a situation, a home relationship, they're going to need that support when they're ready to make that step toward freedom, because it takes a lot of courage to step out of there. And having that support of family and friends when they're finally ready and know they have support, it's huge. So looking at that and knowing if you're worried about somebody, or you hear that somebody else is worried about somebody, know that hotline number is there, know the WC is there. We've been open, we'll continue to be open, because ultimately that is the thing that's most important, is to let somebody know you're there for them and finding that freedom. And once they get to the WCA, we have more than shelter. Shelter, if someone's in a physically, like a very dangerous situation, shelter can be the most important thing. However, we have counseling. For community members, if they aren't ready to leave, they have already left. Maybe they're dealing with the trauma of a past relationship years ago, because I can tell you firsthand, sometimes that the effects of that trauma can stay with you for years and you don't even realize it. And the WCA is there to help. It doesn't matter when that relationship happened. If you realize that that's still affecting you and it's affecting your ability to communicate effectively or trust or move on in future relationships, you can call the hotline, talk to somebody about coming in and having some counseling, or walk into the crisis center and say, I'd like to come to the support group, or look on the website, because there's help there regardless of when a sexual assault or an abusive relationship might have happened, if it happened when you were a teenager, because that's a significant issue that people don't recognize as a domestic abuse, intimate partner violence between teenagers. And a lot of teenagers don't recognize that is intimate partner violence, whether they may be the one inflicting the violence or on the receiving end. They just don't recognize that is what that is. So there's help there. And there's case management, there's financial empowerment programming to help understand budgeting and credit reporting and how to repair a credit report. And we've seen I've heard amazing success stories about women who, and even men, but women who are able to finally, purchase their first home after years of going through this program, after maybe they get out of shelter, or once they're in shelter and they're getting counseling and their kids are getting counseling, and they go through this financial empowerment programming and they get some job skills training with Create Common Good, and they are able to come out on the other end and they're on the path to finding that freedom. So they come in and they're looking for the safety, and they're going through that healing, and they find that freedom. And so that is really, when you follow that path of what our mission statement is and finding that freedom, that is the really cool part of what our mission statement is, and embodies it, as it's that safety, healing, and freedom. And they're finding the freedom from that domestic violence. They're breaking the cycle of generational violence for their children too. And for me today, again, reflecting on Memorial Day and what that means to me and what I'm thankful for, and that really kind of embodies who I am. and why I do what I do. I'm really thankful. I'm a pretty patriotic person. More so now, I think, as I get older. Again, I'm full disclosure, I'm a military wife, and now I'm a military mom, and that doesn't mean that I like war or fighting or anything. It just means I'm very thankful for the freedoms that I have, and I'm very grateful for the people who are willing to give and sacrifice and allow me those opportunities. And I'm very thankful that I get to do the work that I do and communicate and educate and go out and see if my voice starts to crack. Not that I'm upset, I just need to drink water. It's allergy season. But I get to do the work that I do on this part of it and help find people the opportunity to help them find the freedom, but also to educate the community and help start conversations so that hopefully as we move into new eras and new ways of living and talking and communicating, that hopefully more people won't be in these situations. I mean, not that we're going to solve it all in one day, but if people learn, effective communication skills and learn what boundaries are, abuse is about power and control. It's not about, he or she just has a bad temper. Oh, they only do that when they're drunk. It's the alcohol and drugs. Well, yes, those things can definitely be exacerbating to the situation. But it's about power and control. It's about one person exerting power over another person and thinking that's okay. They're choosing to do it. So if we can continue to go out and educate and talk to people and start conversations and encourage people to support those they're worried about and not get frustrated and give up and learn how to offer support and resources, I do believe that every time we talk to somebody, every time we talk to a group of people, every time we go into a classroom, if we just plant one single seed, something will grow. And that's how we change the community. That's how we move toward freedom. And each time we talk about that hotline, which by the way is 208-343-7025, and we say anyone can call from anywhere, anytime, and we'll be on the other end of that phone line. And you can ask for referrals, you can ask for information. I am very happy that I know, we get requests for that phone number through Facebook. We have people now. The social media is managed by our team, which we are not client advocates, but we can refer you to there. So always call that hotline. During the weekday, we have it's answered by our crisis case manager, Paige. She's amazing. And then it rolls over to our client advocates. They are answering it. They are there. They are trained. They have resources. We have great partnerships with amazing nonprofits in our community we refer out to, and they refer to us. So we have an awesome community. This is a wonderful place to live. I raised my child here. I have a wonderful family my family raised my child here. Aunts, my uncles, cousins. I love it here. When I was younger, I always thought I'd move to some big city and have this great life. And I don't know, when it came time to, raise my child, I thought, well, why would I want to go anywhere else? This is a beautiful place to be. My family is here. And I am very passionate about just trying to make this place better because I love it here. And I love what I do. And I know that if we all just have the tools in our toolkit to help those that we care about and know how to support them, because I absolutely can tell you every time we were out at an outreach table or we go into some room to talk to somebody, without a doubt, every single time somebody walks up to me and says, this was me, or this was my mom or my sister, or the WCA saved my life. Without a doubt, every single time. So someone who's been in an abusive situation, someone who is currently in one or will be in one very soon, because this happens. And if you know where to call to get resources, or to just give them the phone number. And we have what we call shoe cards, and I meant to grab one, and what I grabbed was my business card, so that's not very helpful, except for it does have the hotline number on the back. So if you know me, I'm happy to give you one of these or a shoe card. But we have shoe cards, and what they have is the hotline numbers on them. They have a basic safety plan on the inside, some other local resources, and then a high-level safety plan on, or just some red flags on the back. And we're happy to drop those off to you. We're happy to mail those to you. But if you have one of those in your wallet and you're worried about somebody, the easiest thing you can do is just hand one to somebody. You know, thought you could use this. Oh, Chris from the WCA wants everybody to have one of these in their wallet, which I do. Because at our outreach tables, that's the first thing I say is, hey, do you have one of our shoe cards in your wallet? Because that's the way that I know we can make a difference in our community, is if everybody has one of those. And I have heard stories where people hand those to people in the drive-through window or follow somebody into the bathroom somewhere because they see something that doesn't quite seem right happen that's bystander intervention type stuff. But you walk in, you just hand it, to somebody in the bathroom and say, thought you might, or drop it in the bathroom in a restaurant or a bar or something, just drop it on the counter. I've seen them actually out and about. I've had people send me pictures of them when they've been out and about, which is awesome because you never know when somebody is going to need that information. And so to have access to that number at the right time for somebody who just needs it, to grab it, put it away. We call it a shoe card because it can be tucked away somewhere, anywhere, but also just like a business card. It doesn't look like something that screams emergency. This is a domestic violence shelter. So that's the way. That's the one step you can help someone start down their path to freedom. But that's what the WCA provides. And whatever service somebody might need along the way, they can come as a community client and just get counseling, just get case management, come to a support group. Or if somebody really is to the point that they need that whole wraparound services, they can come into shelter, they can receive all those services on the shelter campus. They can come actually not right now, you can't come to the courthouse, you can come to the WCA actually and receive services about filing a civil protection order and get safety planning, which is a service that is amazing that a lot of people actually don't know about, that the WCA provides, is a court advocacy program and legal referrals and volunteer lawyer time. So it's, if you need just different pieces or you need the complete package of holistic services to get you down that path to finding freedom, to breaking that cycle of domestic violence and domestic abuse, or sexual assault, that's a rape crisis advocacy. That's a whole different story because a lot of times those things happen concurrently in the same situation. But if it's just one or the other, you call the hotline, you talk to somebody, you find out what your options are, and they'll help you. They can help you determine what services you think you need, and it's completely client driven. Nobody's going to force anything on you. Nobody's going to tell you what you have to do, legally or otherwise, filing charges or otherwise. That freedom, that path to freedom, is completely client driven. Whatever you feel like you need. And that's one of the really great things, I think, that freedom is driven by the person. And so it's really empowering. So with that, I can't really tell if anybody's asking questions because I don't know that I have the settings on right. I see people saying hi, but I appreciate you all coming on today. It's your holiday, and I hope you're all finding some fun time to enjoy with your family because family is really important, and it takes a village to not only raise a strong family, but sometimes it takes a strong village to help those that we're worried about and we care about. And I know that in my lifetime, my family has also become, my family is the people who I was born with, but also sometimes my family has been people who have adopted me or cared about me, and I've really counted on them to help me through some difficult times. With some of the issue areas now and when I was younger. And I couldn't have done it without those people that I cared about, or that cared about me, saying, hey, this isn't right and you don't deserve this. And, we're gonna stick with you, and you're gonna get through this, and it's gonna be okay. And I want the same for everyone else out there. So remember our hotline, 208-343-7025. Our website is wcaboise.org. And I think the most important thing to remember about the journey for someone who's being impacted by domestic abuse or sexual assault, the most important thing is that many of them feel like they've brought it on, or they've been thought, they've been told, they've been made to feel like it's their fault. And regardless of what choices they've made, what they've done along the way, even the little things, it is never their fault. Abuse is never the victim's fault. And that is the most important thing. It's sometimes the most difficult thing for someone to understand. And that can be the most freeing thing when they finally do realize that, is that it's not their fault. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful holiday off. Enjoy your day, and thanks for tuning in. Until Wednesday, the Wednesday show with Olivia and Becca at the Boise JV House for episodes through July. We've got some great episodes lined up the next few Mondays. We've got some of our program staff and our admin staff, department specialists that are going to come to you from some different locations. We've got some folks from our court advocacy team and our residential program manager lined up to come talk to you. If there is something particular you might like us to talk about on our Live at Lunch program, shoot us a message on the IM box, and we'll do our best to address it. We can't really talk about client information, but we would love to bring this to you. This is our way of doing outreach right now and reaching out to you. So we'd love to bring you the information and conversations that you want to hear. So thanks everybody. Have a great Monday. Bye.